Hey students, in this short video I'm going to show you what it looks like to create a cube in Autodesk Inventor. This will be using our Amazon app stream, where we can access all of our professional level computer programs right through our Chromebook. At this point I have got a seat in the AWS and I'm just waiting for all of my different application settings to load. This is a kind of a slow process, so it really requires you to practice a good amount of patience. I'm going to pause my recording and resume when everything's loaded. Great. So I waited about 5 minutes and I was able to get into the AWS. It took quite a while for my program to load today, which is pretty typical on a school day. If you're working on this outside of school time, you might find that it actually is quite faster to load on your Chromebook. Now that I'm in Autodesk Inventor, I just want to give you a quick tour. In Autodesk Inventor, professionals use this program to design models in a 3D space. On the top of the screen, or top-ish of the screen, because we're streaming it through our Chrome, we have some links. We can create a new document, we can open, we can go to projects. Those are going to be the three main links that we will be using as far as those groups of buttons in this row. We also have the Word file, and we will be using that quite a lot. So what we're going to do is just start with a new blank document. I'm going to click on block on that. When I'm in my new blank document, I have a variety of templates I can choose from. I'm going to click on the drop down, and instead of being in just the standard.ipt for parts, I'm going to actually go into the metric folder, and I am going to choose a standard millimeter.ipt. So this is up towards the bottom of the new the top of the new window. We're in the parts section. Parts are what we're mainly going to be focusing on this quarter when it comes to Autodesk Inventor. So I'm going to go to a millimeter part, standard millimeter.ipt. I'm choosing millimeters because that is the type of measurement system we're going to be focusing on this quarter. So I did a quick double click on that. When I did that, my Inventor is opening up a blank file. Now this might take a little longer just because we're running so much through the internet, and this is a really intense computer program. Awesome. I am ready to begin creating something in Autodesk Inventor. To get started, I am going to click on the word Start 2D Sketch. So I'll click there. And the very first time I click on Start a 2D Sketch, I get this 3D work plane. I'm going to click on the XY coordinate plane. We also have a YZ coordinate plane and a XZ coordinate plane. Almost all the time I choose the XY coordinate plane. I'm going to click on it. My screen does this cool little morphy thing. And now I'm going to grab a tool to create a sketch with. Most of the time when we just begin, we start with the rectangle tool because it creates just a solid shape. So I'm going to go to the origin. That's where my two lines are intersecting, and I get a green dot. I'm going to click to start on that dot. On Inventor, try to get out of the habit of clicking and holding when you're working with tools, and just do click to start. If you could see my hands right now, my hands are not on the mouse. They are just free, and if I move my hand around, it still changes even though I'm not holding down my mouse button. When I have that box highlighted, I'm actually going to go to my keyboard. I'm going to type in 50, and that number will change. Now I want to get to the other box where it says 10. So I'm going to hit the Tab button. When I hit Tab, my line is going to change, and then I'm going to jump to my other box where it says 10.840 millimeters, and I'm going to type in 50 again. Changed from 10 to 50, and then on my keyboard I'm going to hit enter. It took a little bit of thinking, but now I have a square that is 50 millimeters by 50 millimeters. If I use the scroll on my mouse or a two-finger slide on my trackpad, I can zoom out and see more of my square. If I grab the little hand off to the side, I can move things around on my screen. I have a square now, so I'm ready to click on Finish Sketch. My screen changed a little bit more, and the next thing I'm going to do is click on Extrude. Extrude allows me to take my 2D shape and turn it into a 3D object. Took a little bit of thinking, but there it is. I want to make a perfect cube because for this first assignment we're making a cube. So I'm going to type in 50 on my keyboard again, and then I'm going to hit enter on my keyboard. I could have also clicked on OK in this box, but I prefer to do as much on my keyboard as possible. All right, it worked. Now we can't quite see it. I like to zoom out and see everything that I've worked on by finding the little orientation cube off to the side and clicking on that teeny tiny little house. And boom, it zooms out. At this point, I have something created. If I only get to here and turn that in, I am good to go. So at this point, if you're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm running out of time, I need to turn something in, use the computer or your Chromebook keyboard buttons and just take a screenshot of what your screen looks like right now and feel free to turn that in on Schoology. This is a great first step. So again, if you're running low on time, take a screenshot using the buttons on your keyboard and turn this in on your Inventor Cube assignment on Schoology. If you have additional time, I'm going to show you 2 other features we can add to the cube. So if you're done and you just want to wrap it up, you can turn off the video now. If you want to keep going, I'm going to show you how to add some pieces. In Inventor, we have a lot of repetitive work. And I'm going to click on Start a 2D Sketch again. And now my Inventor is waiting for me. It's saying, hey, you want to make a 2D sketch. But where? Because it's a computer, it doesn't know. It can't think for me. I want to make a sketch on the top surface, so I'm going to click on the top. My Inventor is going to morph a little bit again. I'm going to grab that hand tool again, and I'm going to slide my square to the center of my screen. Now, I'm going to continue to repeat. I'm going to go to my rectangle, and it's going to say, hey, where do you want to make something? And I'm going to make something back at the origin. I'm going to look for my green dot. I'm going to use my mouse to click and start, and I'm going to slide in the right direction. Now on my keyboard, I'm going to type in again. I'm not going to type in 50, that would be way too big. I'm going to type in 20, hit tab on my keyboard to get to the other box, type in 20 again, and then hit enter. Notice that was a really big repetition of what we did last time. Now that I have made my square, I've completed a whole shape, I can click on Finish Sketch. Just like last time, I used my Extrude tool. I'm going to use my Extrude tool again. And this time it defaulted to 10 millimeters just like last time, but I want to have a perfect cube sticking out up on top. So I'm going to type in 20, and notice it extruded it to 20, and I'm going to hit enter. Let's try that one more time. There we go. Now I'm going to zoom out again. And like I said last time, if this is all you have time for and this is what you want to turn in, turn it in. Take a screenshot and turn this step in. This will also get you points on the assignment called Inventor Cube on Schoology. But I'm going to show you one more cool thing. The last thing is really repetitious, but we're going to do a slight variation. So I'm going to go to Start a 2D Sketch. And again, it's waiting. It's saying, hey, where do you want me to sketch? So I'm going to tell it, back on that top view, please. And now I'm going to start in this opposite corner. So I'm going to grab my rectangle tool, and I'm not going to go to the origin this time. I'm going to go to the outside corner, opposite of the cube that was sticking up. I'm going to look for my green dot. I only want to click when I have a green dot for this project. And I'm going to click to start, and then I'm going to go to my keyboard. 20, tab, 20 on my keyboard, enter. I have another cube, or not a cube yet, it's just a square. And now I'll click on Finish Sketch. Perfect. Last step, I'm going to extrude, but here's my variation. When I extrude this time, I want to have this cut out. When I want to do that, I can actually take my gold cone here, I can click, and this is a click and hold, and I'm going to drag it down. Now I'm going to go to my keyboard. I want to have it extrude down inside my cube for exactly 20 millimeters. So I'm going to type in 20. I'm going to hit enter on my keyboard and try that again. Boom. I now have a notch cut out of my cube. This is everything that we're going to do for our cube. So again, if you want to take a screenshot right now, turn it in on Schoology, you are good to go. But if you ever want to come back to this project, you won't be able to at this point because we haven't saved anything. So in this next part of our video, I'm going to show you how to save. Nowhere on our assignment in Schoology do I ask you to save this work, but eventually you're going to have to learn how to save if you're going to design a CO2 car. So saving. Hopefully you already set up your Google Drive by going to My Files and setting up your Google Drive. If you click on that File button and you do not have Google Drive right here, you should have a little cloud and you need to reference a previous video on how to set up your Google Drive for saving. I'm going to close out my window because I have my drive set up. And now I'm going to save. To save in Inventor, I need to click on this teeny tiny little icon right here. That's the save icon. When I do that, a new window will open up. I have found that I continually default to saving to the wrong spot when we're using Inventor through the AWS. So this is going to be a little bit tedious and might be something we have to do over and over. So in my Save In box, I'm going to click on the word Documents for me. Yours might say something different. I'm going to click on it and I'm going to go to my Google Drive. If at this point you don't see a Google Drive, you can go to this PC and you should see Google Drive. If you don't see Google Drive, then you probably don't have it set up here. I have Google Drive set up here, so I'm going to click on it, and then I'm going to double click on it. You can also click and then tell it to save. Now, at this point, it won't let me save quite yet, so I'm going to go into My Drive. Oh, there we go. And all of my Google Drive will load. My Google Drive is really full with stuff for school. So I created a folder to help keep me organized. I'm going to put mine in my AWS Work and Samples folder because that's where I need it to go to keep my drive organized. So I'm going to click on that folder and I'm going to click on Save. You don't have to choose a folder. You can just save it in My Drive. If you want to stay organized, I suggest creating a folder. Right here's an icon to do so. And save it in a folder. And now I'm going to click on Save. It's going to say, hey, do you want it to go in there? I'm going to say, yep, save. So now it has saved. Nothing really magical happens on our screen in Inventor. We can't really see that it's saved. We just have to trust it. If you want to check your work, you can always open up a new tab and check your Google Drive to see if your project went there. The name of this project, I forgot to rename it, but that's okay. It's called Part 1. And the cool thing about Inventor, if I hover down here, it tells me the name of it and it tells me exactly where it went to save.